Welcome everybody to another episode of Cook Like a Champion. I'm your host, Ace Champion. It is Taste of Italy today. Yes, that's right. This Cajun boy is gonna show you guys how to make homemade pasta. And then later on in the show, I got this guy called Big Tony. He's actually one of my camera crews and actually one of the owners of Creative Edge. He's gonna come on and he's gonna show you guys how to make authentic Sicilian pasta. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in it. Chef Champion here to take you on a culinary journey I promise you've never been before. I'm here to help mold you, shape you, motivate you, and most importantly, inspire you into cooking like a champion. I'm Chef Champion. Let's bring cooking back the way it used to be. Welcome to the new age of culinary learning. All right, so let's get started. So I know traditionally in the Italian culture, they use semolina flour, which is a heavier flour to do particular pastas. But what I've noticed when I'm cooking for people, a lot of people want ingredients that I know for sure they have in their cabinets. And flour is one of them. So I'm gonna start off with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And what I wanna do is actually create a mound. So within that mound, I'm gonna take my hand and actually create a crater all the way down to the middle, and you want your mound pretty high. So now that I have that little hole in there, we're gonna go ahead and drop 2 whole eggs in there. And then on this one, I'm actually gonna drop 2 egg yolks. Now you can play around with this. I know there's many recipes out there. Some will have you put just the egg yolk, some will have you do egg whites. I like the 50-50 mix. It seems to be the perfect balance for a nice pasta. So now that I have that in there, I'm gonna go ahead and season all around within it and on the flour. And I'm gonna start off with my Providence mix, which is kind of like an Italian season, just all my nice Italian herbs. And I'm using all these different herbs because every single recipe I looked at just used salt and pepper. And you know me, so I'm gonna add a little bit of this Cajun season too as well. So feel free to jazz it up as much as you like. And then now I'm gonna add a little bit of this granulated garlic. So now that I have my eggs all seasoned up, now what I want to do is just take a fork and you're just going to lightly whisk the egg yolk inside of it. Just like so. So the trick is as I'm mixing it, I'm actually incorporating just a little bit of the flour into the egg mixture. You don't want to mix it all in all at once or else it's going to get too clumpy on you. So you're just going to keep adding just a little bit to that egg mixture. All right, now when it gets to the point to where, you pretty much just can't mix it anymore, and you're actually just gonna roll the flour lightly right into the dough, mixing it as you go. And you're just gonna fold it into itself until you incorporate the majority of the rest of the flour. And at this point, it's gonna start to get kind of sticky on me. You just add a little bit more flour. You want it to be a little bit moist. So traditional recipe would have you add a couple tablespoons of water, but y'all already know how I roll. There's no water going on over here. So we're gonna use some Moscato wine, just a little bit, about 1.5 tablespoons. And then we're gonna fold that in there and mix that up real nice center. So basically what I'm doing is I'm folding the dough into itself. After I fold it, I'm gonna press down firmly on it and then fold it again. And I'm gonna keep repeating this process till literally it's gonna feel like I can't fold it anymore, and that's gonna let me know that it's nice and tight and ready for proof. All right, so now this is pretty much, like I said, I'm rolling it and it feels like, man, I just can't roll it anymore. It's nice and tight, nice and elastic. So I'm just gonna go ahead and wash up my hands a little bit. You want a little bit of moisture on there or else it's gonna get really clumpy on you. So what I like to do right before I wrap it is just add a little bit of that Moscato right to my hands. Do like that and then call one of your crew members. No, I wouldn't do that to you guys. No, I wouldn't smack them. And then I'm just gonna roll that right around the dough. And that's pretty much gonna rehydrate the dough and allow it all to bond in together. And now I'm just gonna make a nice round ball. Just like so. So now you just wanna take some saran wrap and you're just gonna wrap that saran wrap right around it. Very important that you use a saran wrap so you take out all the oxidation out of it. So now we got a good wrap, which is very important because that keeps all the gluten intact, keeps everything nice and together. So we're gonna wrap that, put that in a bowl, and it's very important that you let this proof for about 30 minutes. If you try and roll it out right away, it's gonna be way too tight and it's just not gonna work. So let this sit out at room temperature for about 30 minutes. All right, so this dough has been proofing for about 30 minutes now. And now we just wanna take this dough, kind of stretch it out a little bit, and we wanna cut it in fours. So in order to make sure that they're even, we'll cut that down the middle, and then we'll cut that, and then we'll cut that just like that. And then what I like to do is just press down on it a little bit. And as I'm pressing down on it, I can kind of feel if it's sticky or not. If it's sticky, just add a little bit of flour to it, dust it just like that. And I'm using a standard pasta maker with the hand crank. You can definitely, if you have a KitchenAid at home or something like that, they make awesome electric attachments that'll make your job go a little bit easier. You can find this at one of your local kitchen stores. I picked this up actually at Season to Taste right there in Howard, Wisconsin. So feel free to go check them out. So now that I have these little pucks ready, now it's time to crank. Now cranking it, it's not hard, it just takes a couple other people. So I'm gonna call my good friend, Tony.
How's it going, Ace?
Tony? How's it going, brother?
It's going good.
So Tony, tell the world who you are and what you do here.
Oh, I'm the guy that's usually behind that camera, director of photography here, so I get to help make all the pretty lighting and make your set look amazing.
Ah, you do an awesome job.
One of the three owners at Creative Edge, we get to work all together and work with you to make an awesome cooking show, which we love doing.
Awesome, awesome. Well, if you want to do me the honors and crank this for me.
I would love to, yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and put a hand right here, basically to keep it from moving all around. That's why it's very important to have two people. So if you want to go ahead and add that through it. I have the crank set right now on 0. Actually, if you want to hold the crank, sure, now that it's in there. I have it set on 0, and that's your lowest set. And basically, you're just going to walk yourself backwards from 0 all the way up to about 6. So now that I have it run through the first time, I'm going to fold that in half, and then fold that in half. And then I'm going to run it through the feeder once again. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go up to 1. So now we're at number 6, which is our last setting. So we're gonna run this through one last time, and then we're gonna go ahead and cut the pasta. If you wanna do the honors and run that through. I think you're going, yeah, you're going the right way. Mm-hmm. There you go. And as you can see, it's very thin, very light. And you can play around with your flavors. You can make sun-dried tomato, you know, by just adding a little bit of sun-dried tomato in there. You can do a lot of cool things with that.
Now, if when you're doing this and you start seeing the pasta like tear apart, that means that you didn't let it proof long enough typically. The glue didn't set, because it should be this thin and still be holding together nicely. Awesome,
makes sense. So now that we have that long piece of pasta, obviously what we want to do is we're gonna go ahead and cut that. What I like to do is as it starts to cut, just take your hand and kind of just weed it out so that it doesn't pile up on each other. Just like so. Oh, there you go, just crank it through. All right. So now that your pasta is cut, we have this hanger right here. I'm just gonna hang these on there. And this is if you want it dry. Obviously if you want it, you know, if you want to just do fresh pasta, you can go right into the water just like that. But we're gonna go and hang that and dry that just a little bit. So we'll repeat the process with the other one. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up these last 2 little pucks. Chef Tony, Rigatoni, is gonna go ahead and show us how to make authentic Sicilia pasta sauce with the eggplant parm. I'm gonna like it.
Welcome back to Cook Like a Champion. I am not Ace Champion. That's Ace Champion. And we're gonna cook some Italian stuff. I'm excited because I'm gonna be bringing you some delicious recipes from my family. I'm half Sicilian, so I've got a little bit of the red wine and garlic in my blood. And are you coming back ever?
I am.
All right. I'm just gonna take over the show if you don't get back.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, so Ace, you told me you wanted to do some pasta.
I did. I wanted to learn how to make it the right way,
yeah,
and not the traditional fast food way.
No, what is the tradition that most people do? They go, they get their pasta from the store and they get the jar,
can, and then 10 minutes later it's ready.
So, and I've told you this before, my Aunt Florence, she was born in Sicily, and I grew up on her food. She would get up at like 3 or 4 in the morning for family get-togethers, and she would stew her own tomatoes down. She'd make everything from scratch, meatballs and eggplant, everything. It was just an amazing meal. So I got really used to that being my diet for Italian. So people are like, you're Sicilian, you must love Italian food. I'm like, nah, not so much, because like I go places, I go to restaurants, and most of them I wasn't really happy with.
Yeah.
So I had like this gap in my life where I didn't really eat much Italian food. And it wasn't until I got older and started cooking myself that I fell back in love with that, because now I can take the recipes she did and incorporate them, show them to my family. I want to take and do a little bit of sauce for you, sauce from scratch. This is not that hard of a thing to do. And even if you had, say you have a jar of sauce at home and you're like, this is a little bland, you can take elements of what we're doing here, put that in the sauce in the pan, and you can spice up your sauce a little bit. All right, so we're gonna start warming up this pan. We don't want it to be too hot, because we're gonna be cooking some garlic right away, and we don't want to burn that garlic. Right. So, Ace, if you would be so awesome as to show us your beautiful knife skills, which I love seeing. We're gonna chop up that garlic. Now, you might do 1 or 2 cloves of garlic, but hey, this is Italian, we're cooking.
Italian. Yeah, there's no such thing as 1 or 2 pieces of garlic.
All right, we're gonna do lots of garlic in there. As this is warming up, I'm gonna put in about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So we're keeping it nice and low because we don't overcook that garlic.
You can't just dump the garlic in there. You have to
Gotta make it look good. That's right.
Everything's supposed to be pretty, right?
You got it. Well, she's sizzling. She's cooking. So this garlic's starting to get a little brown. We don't want it to burn. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna throw in this water, and it's gonna cool it down right away. And this water, the amount of water that you put in, like I've got about 2/3 of a cup there, that's the amount that you want to kind of thin out your sauce. Okay. So if you're doing like a pizza sauce, you could do less water. If you want like a thicker sauce. If you want it thinner, if you like, a thinner sauce, depending on the type of pasta you're putting it, you can add more water. So next thing we're gonna do is put in our tomato paste. So unfortunately, I don't have the time right now to stew my own tomatoes down. That's the right way to do it.
All authentic.
That's the right way to do it. I apologize, but if you're going with the tomato paste, if you look at the side of the tomato paste can, it literally just says tomato.
That's all it is.
Yeah, it's not a tomato sauce where I put it like basil and other stuff into it. You want the tomato paste because that's just tomatoes, and we're doing our own flavors and ingredients in this sauce right now.
So what is that, about 6 ounces?
Yeah, this is 1 small can, which is 6 ounces, correct. So we're incorporating our tomato sauce into that water, or the tomato paste into the water, into the olive oil, so they're all emulsified all together. So the next thing that we're gonna do is start adding our seasoning. So we have a variety of seasoning here. We got some fresh basil. You can do dry basil if you want. I like fresh, so you can go right out of
Do you want that cut? Or
yeah, we're gonna chop this up nice and small.
There you
Nice, beautiful. So I like the fresh basil. Whenever you can go fresh, that is the preferred method. We've got some dry oregano here, but yeah, fresh ingredients are gonna make it so much better. All right, so let's keep throwing in our seasoning. So we got oregano in here, a couple tablespoons of oregano, some salt and pepper to taste. You know how that goes. You decide how salty you want it to be, how much pepper, if you like a little kick. Sometimes I'll throw red pepper flakes in there, maybe some cayenne. All right, we got a couple ingredients left here. We got our fresh grated Parmesan. This is gonna make your red sauce, have a little cheese in it, incorporate it in there beautifully. But make sure you give this enough time to melt and incorporate into the sauce. So I know we gotta step away for a second, so we're gonna let this melt for a bit. Let it cook, stay on low, don't do too high, otherwise you'll burn your sauce. Make sure you're always stirring, because that bottom layer is gonna wanna get overdone. This is looking great. That Parmesan is melted beautifully. Smell that? That garlic, that olive oil. Now there's one other scent that's missing, one other flavor, and that's a good red wine.
Yes, and we got our good friends from Lautenbach Orchard Country right here in Door County. They provided us with some Red Barn, which is some red wine. Just say when.
I don't know when. That's good right there. So it depends on what you want in your palate. You can start off with a couple tablespoons of red wine. We probably put in about 1/3 of a cup in there. I like to lean towards a little bit more. That really brings a very strong, robust flavor in there. But what you're gonna have is there's gonna be some acidity now in the sauce because of the red wine and the tomato nature. So we wanna cut that down, not make it too overpowering. So we got some sugar right there. That's gonna cut down that acidity.
Well, I think there's only one thing left to do, rigatoni, and see if this.
Never heard that one before.
I know. Sean told me to call it to you.
All right, let's get in there. Huh?
All right, yeah.
Hey, a chef's got to taste his creation, right?
Got to.
Isn't that good?
It's good stuff.
So, I mean, you can
like
tell
that.
how much more flavor there's in there.
Oh, yeah.
That's just bursting with flavor. We got garlic and olive oil.
Well, you got real ingredients versus
Right,
processed
exactly.
ingredients in the store-bought
So
stuff.
that's I'm used to this. That's when you get like a can from the store and like this is nothing. It's just water.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to add that. Like I said, you can get a store can and just add to it if you don't have the time
Jazz it
to
up a little
mix
bit.
all that stuff up. So spice it up a little bit. Add some stuff. So now we got our pasta. We got our
Yes.
sauce. You know, now you might, in traditional Italian cooking, you might have a meatball, you might have, you know, so a side meat or something like that. But we want to do something a little healthier today, so we're going to do an eggplant. Now, I love eggplant. Eggplant is just a delicious food in Italian cooking. There's many ways to do it. You can do an eggplant parmesan. But today we're going to do something super simple. It's really, really simple.
They like simple.
Simple is great. Just fried eggplant. And it goes great with any pasta dish. So let's get that set up.
Awesome.
We've got our eggplant right here. You can show me some more of your beautiful knife skills and start chopping that up. So you can either slice it or you can cut into strips. I like to cut into strips because then it goes better on the pasta that way.
do that then.
Yep, so we're gonna cut her into about 1/4 inch strips, should be fine.
Got it.
If it's too thin, it'll turn into eggplant chips. If it's too thick, it won't cook all the way through. You'll end up with kind of a chewy inside. So while you're doing that, I'm gonna get this pan warming up. All right, yep, so cut her down the middle. All right, so we've got our eggplant cut in nice strips. I've got a pan here with a piece of paper towel on it. I'm gonna put some of those, just fill that up as much as you can. So you sprinkle salt over the top of it, like so.
Oh man, I'm sorry. There's a way to put salt on it.
Oh, there's the, we're gonna salt
There you
bait.
go. Sorry.
Yeah, no, tell them.
All right, there you go.
There are better people on Instagram that do that. So we're gonna cover that in salt. You can be generous with this. We're actually gonna rinse off any excess salt so it's not too high sodium later. But what this does is this draws out the water. And that makes it, like I said, easier to fry. And you can go right to the meat of that eggplant. So now that this has been properly salted, we want to set it aside for about a half hour, give or take. When you see sweat of water on top of it, and you know a good amount, then you know that it's finished sweating and it's ready to fry.
Awesome. All right, so as you guys got that going, we'll go ahead and get our pasta going. So we'll go ahead and bring our pasta back over here. And right now I just have water at an ample boil. You don't need to add any olive oil, or sometimes they do that to keep it from sticking. All you just really need is an ample boil, which means the water needs to be at a consistent boil. Go ahead and salt that heavenly with some Himalayan salt. And once that comes to a boil, we're gonna go ahead and throw that in there. You only wanna let your pasta cook for about, what, 5 minutes?
Yeah,
It's
just
fresh
so,
pasta?
yeah, it all depends on what you want. Do you want it al dente? So
I
do you want
want it
a
al
little
dente.
chew to it? Yeah.
Al dente is to the tooth, so. Go ahead and drop this pasta in there.
Keep it on a medium to medium high heat. You know, like I said, we're gonna be frying it, so we want to get that oil nice and warm. So I'm gonna let that pan warm up a little bit, add some oil.
Add my pasta.
And I'm shallow frying the eggplant, so you don't need too much oil, maybe a 1/4, or not even a 1/4, maybe 1/8 of an inch.
And then I always notice too, once you put the actual pasta in there, give it a light little mix right away. And that way the pasta won't stick to each other.
Perfect.
All right, now that you see the little smoke, that
Yep.
kind of lets you know that it's all ready. So-
All right, I'm ready to throw some eggplant in there.
Awesome. Now I'll go ahead and check on my pasta. As you guys can see, the pasta is almost done. Oh my God, just look at this pasta. Just,
It's
it
pretty.
looks so
That
much
is
better
pretty.
than store-bought pasta.
All right, let's take a look. Oop, yep, we're getting nice golden brown. Look at that. Sign me up, Jack.
Yes sir, yes sir.
That's looking good. That's where we want to be.
And then you just gotta repeat the process
Yep,
with the other
they
one.
get to be about that on the other side.
Awesome. Oh yeah,
It's looking good.
looking good.
These are pretty much done. So we're gonna put this on some paper towel, absorb some of that excess oil. All right, like I told you, Ace, like when I'm cooking, a lot of times I'm not even sitting down at the table. I'm just eating sending out to people walking around, telling them to eat manja manja, right?
Nice, nice.
So, but I know we eat with our eyes. So tell me how to plate this. Let's plate this meal.
We do,
beautifully.
and I get it. You know, you spend all day cooking. Last thing you want to do is spend time presentation. But like I said, people eat with their eyes, and if you just throw it on there, they don't really get the full effect on what you're really trying to do. So we'll just lay a couple of these on there and fan it out, just like so. And then you got to do a little music when you do it, you know.
I'll bring my violin next time.
Now they have that, so then we'll get the pasta. And we're actually gonna get a nice spoonful of that. And as you see, nothing's sticking because we had that nice ample boil. And we're just gonna add that pasta right here. Just like that. Bring some of that over so you can see the eggplant. There you go. All right, just put that in if you want to spoon some of that Tony's famous red sauce right
Now,
over there.
I know a lot of Americans are used to dousing their pasta with sauce, but if you got delicious sauce, you don't need to. A little bit goes a long way. But if you want to drown it, you can.
Well, this is Wisconsin, so we have to put some cheese on
That's
the top
right.
of it, and then we're just gonna top it with a little bit of Parmigiano cheese, just like that. Well, Tony, this looks excellent. This is definitely chef worthy. Thank you for. I would say thank you for coming on my show, but he's here
I'm here
filming
most of
me
the time.
every single time
Yes.
anyway. But
Well, you know, we're used to sitting back there and enjoying the food after it comes out, so I'm glad I could share a little bit of my heritage with you, but you still get to enjoy what's your part.
yeah.
That's
One
it.
for you,
Thank you, sir.
and one for me. I promise I won't judge you too hard, but you are on the show called Cook Like a Champion, teaching the world.
I'm
So
used to your high standards, so let's see if this
I'm
matches.
gonna take a little piece of this eggplant like that. I can eat that all day,
I do often.
all night,
Oh,
and then put it in the refrigerator and have it for breakfast in the morning. And that's how you cook like a champion, Italian style. Oh, my fact, Sicilian style.
That's right.
There you go, you guys. Always remember to stay positive in the kitchen and know that you too.
okay, cook like a champion.
That's right, you heard it from right then and there. We'll see you next time. Awesome.
Some more.
Yeah, for sure.
Culinary School of Arts, now he's cooking for the whole world. You dream it, you can achieve it. A message to the boys and girls. Stomachs growling, time to see what's on the menu. Slicing and dicing the veggies like it's Ginsu. All types of servings got that flavor for your taste buds. Coming back for seconds, it's amazing what the taste does. So many entrees for all different occasions. Food to heal the soul and bridge the gap between the nations. It's that cook, chef, champion, ace off in the kitchen. Preparing all your meals with food that's finger licking. Let's go.
Cooking Like a Champion is produced by Creative Edge Productions.